Good morning, YouTube. Today I want to talk about whether or not you should buy the Fellow XF dripper. So I've had this dripper for about 2 months now, and I made an ASMR coffee brewing video. So if you're interested in that, check it out here. So after using it for some time, I've definitely had more an opinion about this particular dripper. This may or may not be another piece of junk in your coffee making collection. So here are my thoughts on the Fellow XF Stagg dripper. To give you some background on this dripper in particular, it is absolutely well designed and it has some interesting characteristics. So this dripper made by Fellow is interesting because it uses vacuum insulated stainless steel, which means that as you brew your morning cup of coffee, your temperature will stay constant and cause a very even, smooth extraction of your coffee grounds, which is exactly what you want when you're making coffee. So for that, this gets a plus. Another very positive aspect about the design is that they have this anti-clog system at the bottom here to make sure that you have a very smooth, even flow rate. And when you're making coffee, having no clogs is super important so that your coffee extracts evenly and you get the taste that you want. And as you saw in my ASMR video, there are some notches embedded on the inside of this bottom part, which acts as a very decent guide to either having 20 or 40 grams of coffee in your dripper. But of course, using a scale is the best option for more precision. But what really differentiates the XF to other drippers such as like the Hario V60, the Kalita Wave, or the Origami, as you can see here, it has a very tall, narrow column with kind of that similar conical inverted V shape to make sure that your coffee and water flows down. So what I can say about this dripper is that it is best meant for someone that enjoys a decent cup of coffee without getting too much into the traditional meditative technical aspects of making a pour over, and someone who values having their own time. When using this dripper, Fellow advocates for a fill-up method where you basically bloom the coffee and just literally fill it up with hot water, let everything run down, and you're basically done. You'll have a decent cup of coffee, very easy, very simple, very quick. And that's why I think for working professionals who are maybe on a crunch to drive to work or have a very busy morning, this is definitely a good option for you guys. The notched interior as well as the vacuum insulated design really makes for a consistently good cup of coffee that I'm not really going to complain about. But a downside that I have noticed is that if I'm making like a Ethiopian or very complex cup of coffee, I'm going to lose a lot more of that flavor spectrum that I could get from it if I were to use a V60 or Kalita Wave. And so because you get less of that wide flavor spectrum, I would probably say that this is better suited for using a medium or darker roast. And I think because of its fast filtration, if you use a darker roast too, you're not going to get too much of that bitter, acrid flavor that you would maybe normally get. Which is why Fellow has two different models of this particular dripper, the XF here or the X. And the difference is basically that the X is meant for more of the traditional types who like to go through the slow, technical process of brewing coffee. And for those traditionalists like me who enjoy the process, definitely go for that particular method. But compared to the V60 or Kalita Wave, these drippers are relatively expensive. I think around $50 USD, whereas a Kalita Wave or V60 is basically half that price. Another thing to consider is that if you are based outside of the US, finding the filters that are specific to these drippers is probably going to be very limited. And these drippers are an added cost that are also more expensive than the filters you use for a V60 or Kalita Wave. All in all, whether or not you decide to buy this is entirely up to you. I would say that if you are a working professional who doesn't have the time or the equipment, check it out, buy it. But if you definitely like to enjoy making coffee in the morning to start your day and think about what you're gonna do for the rest of the day, I would definitely lean more towards the traditional V60 or Kalita Wave. To be honest, in my opinion, I would not want to spend $50 for the X dripper when I could get the V60 or Kalita Wave for half the cost, plus filters for like a year. Should you buy the Fellow XF dripper? In my opinion, yes. Hope you found this video helpful. If you are interested in purchasing this dripper, please help the homie out, homie hotline. Use my affiliate link down in the description box below, and let me know what else you want to see that's coffee related. I'm gonna make some coffee right now, so peace out.